Hi guys, and welcome to yet another one of my videos. So I'm just getting ready for work and I thought I would just like have a little bit of a chat with you guys, and I started doing like my makeup and stuff like that, but I really wanted to actually show you the stuff that I have been using. Makeup's something I do enjoy. It's not like the main thing on my channel, but it's definitely something I do enjoy, so I thought I'd show you that, and I'd show you how I do my hair, how I curl my hair with a hair straightener and all of that kind of stuff, because people do ask me about that sometimes. Probably talked about this before, but I use the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous foundation, and this is in the colour 110, which is a little bit light for me right now because I have a bit of a fake tan, but I think I can just get away with it by just putting on some bronzer and things. And to apply I use this Chi Chi sponge, which is really dirty. Yeah, I think that's it really. That's all that's happening on my face. And I thought it would be cool to talk about self-care and things like that, because that's something that's become quite relevant in what I've been doing more recently. So I thought it would be cool to kind of talk about what my process for self-care is, particularly for someone who works with people all the time. It's important to have a really good process for caring for other people, so I thought I'd talk about that. Just while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be using this, hold it upside down, Chi Chi highlighting and contour palette. This is pretty new, it's a bit dirty. This is my one and it's pretty new. I've used a few contouring and highlighting palettes you've probably seen me use before. I have another video on this channel where I talk about something else and I used the Kat Von D one, but I went through that really quickly. It's really good. I mean, I really like it. Like this, it's got a couple of highlighting shades, a nice banana shade here, and all these contouring ones. This is my favourite, and then this one, and these are quite nice. I often use contouring palettes on my eyes as well, so I like to use both. So I'm just going to take a little baby brush and I'm just going to do some contouring on my face. But self-care for people who work with people, and that could be anyone from social work to counselling to youth work, which is what I do. Self-care has become something that's really important, and I feel like it's something that should be like talked about and made something that is more important across the whole spectrum of no matter where you're working, no matter what you're doing. Just adding a bit more like value to what you do, and acknowledging that as people we're holistic people. We're not just what we can do in our workplace. We've got the mental side of us, the emotional aspect of it, and the physical side of it, and it's all of it is really important. A couple of things that in my organisation that we are kind of required to do as part of being staff. One of them is to have supervision, and what supervision looks like is quite different to everyone, but for me, I have two supervisors. I have an internal supervisor who's somebody who's doing work with me, so that's my boss, and I have an external supervisor, so someone who's outside of the organisation who isn't really connected in with it but is a professional in youth work, so that they actually know what they're talking about, so you can actually relate to one another and they know what to talk about and what to ask and stuff. I meet with my internal supervisor once a week and my external supervisor once a month, which can sound like a lot. I'm just going to highlight with this top colour here, and then I'll go in with this Balm Mary Luminizer, which looks like this, and I've hit Total Pan and it's just goldy. This other one in the Chi Chi palette's really pink and this is really gold, and I like both because I like to glow all the time. I think the internal supervision is quite like what's on top right now, and external supervision is almost like what's been kind of on top for a while, and maybe stuff that you can't talk about with your internal supervisor because you don't feel comfortable, or because it's like, I don't know, you just want another person's opinion or something like that. And supervision is pretty amazing. If you have a really good supervisor, it can be really, really great. A lot of external supervisors and professional supervisors, you do have to pay for their time, but that always turned me off, because I thought like, oh, I'm like paying someone to care about me. But you're actually paying them, you're not paying them to care about you, you're paying them for their expertise. They care about you by default out of the connection that you guys make. Like, if they're a supervisor and they're a professional, they're going to be good at what they do, and so paying them is acknowledging all of that skill set. Supervision is a place where you can go and kind of dump your staff safely. You can talk about whatever you want to, it's your time, and it's really important, particularly for those of us who work with people. But I think everyone should look at supervision. It could also be called like mentoring or life coaching, or whatever you wanted to call it, or whoever you wanted to go through to do it. I really recommend it. It's sometimes really hard and challenging, but in a good way, if that makes sense. Another part of self-care that I think is important is to look at yourself. Like I was saying before, we're holistic beings, right? So we're emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, and all of those things. So I think it's about like looking at those things in your world and kind of almost going through like a little bit of a personal kind of checklist, just to see like what's really working and what isn't working. I'm just going to do my eyebrows, and to do that I'm going to use the Chi Chi brow pomade, and this is in the colour taupe. Yes, I've just done my eyebrows, so moving on. Thinking about yourself as and going through like a personal checklist of things and how you self-care. A lot of it is a lot of trial and error, and realizing what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and what really fuels your soul. And what I mean by that is what gives you energy and what doesn't. And I think things that fuel your soul might be, it doesn't have to be, but it might be something like going for a walk in nature, it might be going to the gym, it might be, those are like physical things. It might be sitting by the beach and just watching the waves. It might be reading for pleasure, not just for like education. It might be spending time with your best friend. It might be going out and getting a coffee by yourself. It might be window shopping. It might be going to church. It might be missing church once and just sleeping in. It might be all kinds of different things. And I think you just got to try a bunch of stuff and see what really gives you energy after you do it, that you're like, whoa, I'm so glad I did that, I feel really good about myself. Those are the kind of things that give you energy. And so there's things like physical stuff, like going for a walk or going to the gym. Like, I don't know, there's like mental stuff, like maybe taking a day off work to just go through a list of things you want to work on, like around your house or something like that. Like maybe you haven't vacuumed in a while, or maybe you really want to just clean out your closet really, really well and you just haven't been able to get around to doing it. Maybe it's about just taking a mental health day and actually just doing those kind of things, because it's not always good to just sleep on mental health days. You've got to do things as well. I think it's about balancing a bunch of those things with understanding an area that might be out of balance. Like if you feel like you haven't exercised in a while, like you're feeling a little bit like oh, I really just want to, like, I don't know, I feel a bit like I haven't done anything for my body, like I haven't really been moving much. I've been sitting in a chair all day. I mean, you have to go to the gym. Like, you can go for a hike, you can go for a walk along the beach, you can go to a class for something that you think might be a little bit out there and you might actually like it. Like, that's what I did once, and I went and did hot yoga, and I, like, honestly, I didn't love it, but the way it made me feel, I loved it after. It's like if you go for a run but you're not a runner, you hate it while you're doing it, and after you feel amazing and you're like, why don't I do this all the time? And it's that whole like actually making yourself do it is harder than actually doing it. Just trying a bunch of things, but really things that honor your body, and that's just an example of like the physical aspect of it is recognizing what might be a little bit out of balance in your world and taking space to honor yourself and to actually do something for yourself. Self-care is all about getting yourself into a better space, and from maybe like I'm really overwhelmed to I can do this and I'm okay, and I'm not just surviving but I'm thriving. Can't do anything well if you're not well, and I think that's something that we bypass a lot of the time because we think it's more selfless or it's more honorable to be busy and to serve people and to do stuff for other people all the time, rather than actually just taking time to love yourself, to step outside yourself and to honor the body and the mind and the emotions and the soul that helps you to do those daily things that are so important to you. Love self-care because sometimes it can take a strong person to care for themselves, which sounds crazy, but in a world that's all about me, it's almost like a bunch of us are trying to like combat that by making it all about everyone else and not acknowledging the needs that are inside of us. And we actually really need to, because if you want to be good at what you do, whatever it is, the only way you can do it is if you are actually okay. It's a bit of a catch-22. Workaholics like myself will find this very hard, but if you can really get a handle on it, it will serve you for the rest of your life. So I'm just going to go in and do a little tiny wing eyeliner, and I'm using the Australis liquid eyeliner. It's just a black one, it's real simple. There used to be a girl, I just remember my class when I would have been about 15 years old, in my maths class, and she would shave off her eyebrows and draw them on with an eyeliner. I don't think it would have been like a liquid, it probably was a pencil, but... And she had like green hair, which you would never get away with at school now, but she did, I don't know why. Pale, like she was like white sheet pale, and but her makeup was really flawless, like really flawless. Like it would have taken her time every morning to do that. Respect, girl, respect. The thing that I will do is mascara. I don't love it, but I don't hate it, but I don't love it. One of the great things about self-care is being able to pass it on to other people. One of the big things we talk about in youth work is the fear of burnout. And what burnout is when you get so overwhelmed, you don't self-care, you don't look after yourself, that you basically have a mental emotional breakdown. Some people are watching this and they're like, oh, that's just every Monday for me, but it's like, no, it's like on another level, like kind of losing it, losing a love for what you do and being able to continue what you love. And burnout probably scares me more than anything else field of work. Like I'm not scared of working with people who are difficult or hard or at risk. That doesn't scare me. It doesn't keep me up at night. What keeps me up at night is the fear that one day I will wake up and I won't love it anymore. Because I've never found anything that I'm good at like it as good at what I do as what I'm doing. I've never loved anything like I love this, and the thought of not being able to do it because I'm not okay scares the crud out of me. So I'm just going in with like a nude coloured eyeliner and just going on my waterline. Ta-da! So this is pretty much all of the face. I know somebody who was telling me the other day that they did burn out, and they said it was like it was 2 years ago and I burnt out, and it's taken me 2 years to rebuild my life. And listening to them talk about that really, like, it freaked me out, but it challenged me because it made me understand how big a deal it is that we care for ourselves. And I really think if you're thinking about self-care, and maybe you're kind of on an edge where you're feeling like you could burn out, like something could go wrong, or you are overwhelmed, you're not able to be present with people. I could do a whole nother video on what burnout looks like, but I think we really have a responsibility as human beings to care for ourselves. Don't leave it till it's too late. Don't sink into a place where you can't get out. Reach out for help, ask around, find a supervisor or a mentor or somebody who you can just sound out to. Do whatever it takes to care for yourself, because it's easier, like it's so much easier to just look after yourself well and stay on top of your self-care rather than clean up something like burnout that's become this big overwhelming mess that you can't really fix in your life. Video is already super long, so I'm not going to do my hair and talk anymore in this video. I just want to cut it here. So yeah, I'd love to know what you guys do for self-care. What do you like to do that makes you feel good about yourself? Do you like to go for a walk? Do you like to read? Do you like to go for a drive by yourself? Do you like to go to a yoga class? Do you hang out with friends? What makes you feel good about yourself? I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are, and yeah, so comment it down below and I'll see you in my next video.